Hey there, viewers! Acid reflux, also commonly known as heartburn, is one of the most common complaints amongst millions across the globe. From the unpleasant burning sensation to the gnawing pain in the stomach, acid reflux is no walk in the park. In today's video, let's discuss some ways you can hopefully alleviate the uncomfortable symptoms of heartburn. Here are the things you should avoid if you suffer from acid reflux and heartburn. Number 1. Citrus fruit. While many are familiar with the feeling of heartburn, not all know what causes acid reflux and the characteristic taste in the mouth. When it comes to our normal anatomy, in order to break down food into smaller particles, our stomachs produce a clear fluid known as gastric acid. This fluid is high in acidity, which is why it's able to digest our delicious meals and snacks. Even though our stomach linings are able to handle the high acidity, our esophagus sadly can't. That is why when the acid leaks and makes its way to the esophagus, we feel a burning sensation in our chest. But what causes the acid leaks? Located at the entrance of the stomach, the esophagus houses a muscular sphincter known as the lower esophageal sphincter, or LES for short. The LES contracts once the food gets into the stomach so that the content isn't regurgitated and back into the esophagus. Acid reflux occurs when the muscles of the sphincter become weak or loose and don't contract or close fully. This leads to the stomach acid breaking up into the esophagus and causing heartburn. Along with certain foods, drinks, and lifestyle choices, many factors can aggravate the feeling of heartburn and the unpleasant sensations in the chest. Luckily, there are some tips and tricks on how to avoid acid reflux and reduce the unfavorable symptoms. One of the main things to avoid when suffering from acid reflux is citrus fruits such as oranges, tangerines, limes, and lemons. As citruses are naturally very acidic foods, they can add and intensify the overall acidity in the stomach and esophagus. Think of it as adding fuel to the fire. Instead, it's better to opt for low-acid fruits like avocados or mangoes. Number 2. Chocolate. Whether it's Valentine's Day or just Monday afternoon, we all love to indulge in our sweet chocolates. But if you have ever experienced heartburn after eating your favorite snack, that may not be a weird coincidence after all. Because as research has shown, chocolate is said to increase and sharpen the symptoms of acid reflux. And here is how doctors and scientists have been able to link the consumption of chocolate with heartburn. According to research, high-fat foods such as chocolate can also trigger heartburn and acid reflux. The high fat content in chocolate can lead to the relaxation of the LES and therefore promote the acid leaking from the stomach. But apart from the fat content, chocolate also contains compounds known as methylxanthines. These chemical compounds are said to relax smooth muscles like the LES and stimulate the heart. So while we all can't wait to get home and snack on our favorite sweets, avoiding chocolate may be a good idea after all. Number 3. Coffee. After a long day of running errands, coffee can act as a great energy pick-me-up. But did you know our morning espressos have been linked to acid reflux? As coffee is naturally acidic, it now seems logical why it may trigger heartburn symptoms throughout the day. Some research has also reported the connection between consuming large amounts of caffeine and the LES relaxation. Over the years, many have found small solutions to living with acid reflux and enjoying a morning cup of coffee. When it comes to the type of coffee, it's best to stick to darker roasts. This is because darker roasts naturally have less caffeine per coffee bean. Another tip is to stick to cold brew coffee, as it also contains lower amounts of caffeine. And finally, reducing the amount of daily coffee intake may also help reduce the symptoms of heartburn. Number 4. Alcohol. Up next, let's talk about why alcohol can be a secret culprit that may lead to burning sensations in the chest. Dietitians and doctors have shown the evidence that links alcoholic drinks to acid reflux and heartburn. As shown by research, alcohol can cause heartburn because of many factors. First, whether it's straight spirits, liquor, or sweet cocktails, alcoholic drinks naturally contain numerous chemicals and specific chemical compounds. It's been reported that these chemicals lead to the irritation of esophageal tissue lining, therefore resulting in worse heartburn sensations. Next, when alcohol is consumed, it causes the stomach to produce more acid as a way to properly digest the spirits. And as we've mentioned, more acid may equal more acid leakage. Finally, according to the American College of Gastroenterology, cocktail drinks may result in the relaxation of LES, aiding in more acid reflux. Number 5. Smoking. It's not only foods and drinks that may give rise to uncomfortable sensations in the chest, because smoking cigarettes has also been found guilty of provoking heartburn. It's a well-known fact that nicotine is a key part of tobacco and cigarettes. As studies have demonstrated, it's the nicotine content in tobacco that stimulates more acid leakage and reflux. Nicotine is said to relax smooth muscles in the body as well as the lower esophagus. The weakening and relaxation of the LES is one of the main reasons for heartburn. But that's not all when it comes to smoking and acid reflux. Reports have shown that people who smoke usually produce less saliva in the mouth. The less saliva there is, the lower the frequency of swallowing. But how is saliva connected to heartburn? As shared by scientists, saliva plays a big role in neutralizing acid reflux. The clear fluid helps restore the normal pH levels in the esophagus and helps reduce the symptoms of heartburn. And finally, long-term smokers are also prone to coughing. The high pressure in the abdomen caused by constant coughing may lead to increased reflux and acid backing up into the esophagus. Number 6. Large meals. Another great lifestyle modification to consider is avoiding eating large and hefty meals throughout the day, and here's why. When we overeat or consume too much food in short intervals, we naturally expand our stomachs. Large meals can lead to over-distentation of the stomach and increased pressure in the abdomen and more pressure against the LES. Instead, it's been recommended by doctors and nutritionists to consume small meals a few times a day. Smaller meals and snacks won't cause the stomach to distend too much, thus avoiding heartburn. Number 7. Eating before bed. Speaking of changing food habits, here is another thing to avoid if you want to reduce your acid reflux. Going straight to bed after eating is one of the leading causes of why we may experience heartburn at night. Food usually stays in our stomachs 1 to 2 hours after eating. If we lie down immediately after eating, we are increasing the risk of our stomachs pressing against the esophageal sphincter. This unnecessary pressure can weaken and loosen the sphincter and cause the acid leakage. Instead, it's been advised to wait 2 to 3 hours after eating to lie down and go to bed, and to avoid late-night snacks. Number 8. Stress. Here's another interesting factor that may aggravate and increase the sensation of heartburn. According to recent studies focusing on the psychological relations to acid reflux, stress can be a trigger of heartburn and gastroesophageal reflux disease, or GERD. To put it simply, GERD is a digestive problem that occurs when the LES doesn't close properly and constantly lets the acid contents back up into the esophagus. As concluded by numerous studies, too much stress can trigger the risk of GERD as well as aggravate acid reflux sensations in the esophagus. One study demonstrated that people with anxiety may be overly sensitive to pain. The higher the sensitivity, the worse and more severe the heartburn symptoms may feel. Anxiety has also been linked to affect the motility of the esophagus and the function of the LES. All of these factors may result in intense episodes of heartburn and acid reflux. Number 9. Fatty foods. Whether it's French fries or a delicious burger or onion rings, fried foods can also impact the frequency of acid reflux. Fried or greasy foods have been shown to sit in the stomach longer. This means it takes us longer to digest these foods in meals. Did you know that fat is the hardest macronutrient to fully digest? That is why in some cases it may take us 1 or 2 whole days to fully break down very greasy and fatty foods. By avoiding fried meals, our stomachs can dissolve the contents faster and cause less distension in the abdomen. Along with causing slow digestion, fatty foods have also been linked to relaxing the smooth muscles in the LES. That is why avoiding fatty foods is one of the best ways to decrease acid reflux symptoms and say goodbye to regular heartburn episodes. Were you familiar with these tips and tricks on how to avoid acid reflux and heartburn? Will you be trying some of these tips to reduce heartburn symptoms? Let us know in the comments below. Here are 2 more videos you might find interesting. Feel free to choose the one you like. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like and share the video with your friends. And for more interesting videos on health, subscribe to the channel.